Hello everyone, welcome in. I hope you guys are doing alright. My name is Brianna and this is going to be a message for the collective. I feel like there's been some sort of shift in the energy, maybe like a timeline jump or something for the collective. So I'm going to pull some messages to see what wants to come out in this energy. Spirit, hello. What's going on in the energy, Spirit? What can we know? Messages in love. Messages of clarity and awareness, Spirit. Clear and concisely for the collective. What is going on in the energy? Okay, we've got nightmare, extreme, intense, uncomfortable, illusion. It's not the energy I was feeling. Nervous system stress response. Is the collective stressed out? And some sort of intense experience, uncomfortable experience that feels like a nightmare. Maybe due to stress. With these two cards, I'm getting the Nine of Swords. Can't sleep. Up all night due to worry, stress, anxiety. What is this? Collective. We've got the collective here. I'm going to put it back though. Okay, what was that? Internal resistance. Internal resistance creating or triggering some sort of uncomfortable stress, as within, so without. What is the energy, Spirit? We've got love deprivation, inability to give and receive love. Is that the internal resistance? I see friendship, companionship, sticking out. Okay, let's do one more. Love deprivation, inability to give and receive love, internal resistance, and nightmare. Telepathic communication. And we've got the yes card. Yes, 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 yes. Stress response. Runner-chaser dynamic. Runner-chaser dynamic. Comfort zone, fear. What is this? Healthy boundaries over a closed heart. Maybe your heart is closed off to love. It's creating some sort of nightmare. It's manifesting as some sort of nightmare, an extreme, intense, uncomfortable illusion, right? Our reality is just an illusion. It's a projection of our internal world, right? So if there's internal resistance, stress, lots of stress, nervous system stress, fear, comfort zone fear about, you've got like runner chaser dynamic and a closed heart, healthy boundaries. All right. And then telepathic communication. This could be communication between you and someone else, or communication between your higher self and your lower self. This wasn't the energy I was feeling. Collective. Okay, this is the collective's energy. I've been talking for a while now about Earth's ascension, right? Earth is ascending into higher dimensions of existence, from the 3D into higher dimensions, right? And if we want to ascend, right, if the collective wants to ascend with Earth, then we have to ascend through the heart. We have to ascend through the heart chakra. We've spent a lot of time in the lower chakras, right? The root chakra, the sacral chakra, and the solar plexus, like healing those chakras, finding stability in ourselves, right? Our identity, finding our self-confidence, our self-worth, like grounding in, right? But now it's time to ascend from the solar plexus into the heart chakra. There's been a lot of internal resistance because the heart chakra has been wounded, it's been blocked. But I feel like if you aren't able to alchemize those densities around your heart chakra, the fear of being rejected or the fear of leaving your comfort zone, then we've got nightmare here, right? Extreme, intense, uncomfortable. There's a push and pull because your higher self, maybe that's this telepathic communication, your higher self is trying to get you to ascend through your heart chakra, but your ego, your personality, your human self is resisting. So it's going to create some sort of discomfort within yourself. And as within, so without, right? So that discomfort is going to manifest, or it's going to create your illusion. It's going to create your reality. So what can we do, Spirit? What's the energy? Maybe this is the timeline split that I was feeling, right? Unlocking. Number 17. This looks like a portal to me, right? An energetic gateway, unlocking a new timeline, or we've got some keys in a lock here, finding the key to breaking out of this nightmare, whatever it is. 17 breaks down to an 8, so this is going to be maybe leaving a cycle, completing a cycle. We've got salvation at the bottom of the deck. This is like a really pretty card. The Savior. The Savior. This energy feels like the opposite of this nightmare energy. Nightmare, extreme, intense, uncomfortable illusion. Maybe you are this Savior. Saving yourself by alchemizing this internal resistance. Let's go here. We've got the bullseye, flipping over Taurus energy, hit your target. This card talks about focusing in, honing in on what it is you want to cultivate. This is also Sagittarian energy. Steady your aim and before you fire. Okay, tell me about nightmare, please. Tell me about nightmare, Spirit. Extreme, intense, uncomfortable, illusion. What's the nightmare? We got the King of Earth in reverse. The King of Earth is mastery in action. This is being If we think about it, the King of Earth is the very last king in the deck. That means he's had to beat all the levels. He's had to integrate various aspects of himself, whether you're male or female, right? This isn't a gender, this is a frequency. It's a throne, it's a level of personal power that we reach. So he's had to integrate various aspects of himself to reach this final throne. Well, it's not the final throne because there's still the emperor. But to reach this level of success, he uses all the elements to create. He uses all of his elements to create his reality. Because like I said just a bit earlier, as within, so without. He's mastered himself in various ways, and that energy projects outward, so he's able to master material success as well. But in the reverse, yeah. We've got the padlock here, another key and lock energy. And then we've got mask, hidden identity. So maybe this King of Earth energy is behind this padlock. It's like the next level up. It's behind this internal resistance. The internal resistance is the barrier. The internal resistance to love. What else can we know about the King of Earth? We've got the lone wolf, solitude. Solitude, this card talks about breaking away from the pack to discover yourself, discover your independence. This wolf is moving towards the resistance, whatever this is, right? So he's walking into the forest, walking into the fear, walking into that internal resistance, whatever it is, right? He's doing it confidently, courageously. This lone wolf is also giving hermit energy. Hermit is the master of himself. The hermit's job is to go within to its subconscious and undo all of the outdated programming. It's the work, the spiritual work. This energy is coming out under nightmare, you guys. We've got the King of Air, mastery of mature thought. So this is mercurial energy, right? The higher mind or the highest mind. This is that telepathic communication energy. The King of Air is tapped in. He's tapped in with his higher self. He receives direct downloads. He trusts himself, right? Or he trusts the information, the guidance that he receives from his higher self. And he takes action based on that. Okay, tell me about internal resistance. We've got lack. This is like poverty consciousness. Feeling like you aren't enough, you don't have enough, you'll never be enough. I can't have that because, I can't do that because, and it manifests outward, right? As within, so without. So this is the internal resistance, lack, poverty consciousness. Tell me more about lack. Can we get more specific? We've got the freaking Two of Cups. The Two of Cups, the beginning of a harmonious exchange. The Two of Cups is cups is water, emotional energy, right? Let me see if I can find the picture of the Two of Cups. I know you guys are probably familiar with what the Two of Cups looks like. Two of Cups, Two of Cups, where are you? Here I am. Okay, so this is the Two of Cups, the beginning of a harmonious exchange between two well-matched individuals. This is the Emperor and the Empress coming together. So this is more of that love deprivation energy, right? Feeling like you aren't enough, or inability to give and receive love, right? Receptive to love, being receptive. And then we have the Creator, the King of Fire. This card talks about utilizing your fire, your creative energy for creating in a positive way, right? Creating toward ascension rather than creating for destruction or descension, right? Okay. Tell me about love deprivation, inability to give and receive love. We've got finish line. Okay. And acceleration. Okay. Okay. So is there like a door closed on this energy here? This card keeps flipping over. Development, material investment. Learning to walk, the baby. So maybe this is like learning to love. Maybe you've completed a cycle. Okay, I like this energy. I'm going to go in this direction. Maybe you've completed a cycle on this internal resistance, or maybe this is an opportunity to do so, right? This is an opportunity to close out a nightmare by mastering an aspect of yourself. This is how we ascend, you guys. Energetically. The energy shifts first, right? Our energy goes through the portal first, the energetic gateway first, and our reality follows. So I feel like this is an opportunity to close a chapter and unlock something new, to be your own savior. To be your own savior. We've got the baby here. Learning to love, learning to give and receive love. We've got lost soul here. And then family tree. Ancestral lineage. This card is giving trauma. Ancestral trauma. Maybe this internal resistance, love deprivation, inability to give and receive love was something that you inherited from your parents, right? It usually is. When our hearts are closed, all the density stored within our lower heart, those dark energies, they usually come from our parents, right? Lost soul. Maybe these energies, this lack, poverty consciousness, it had us lost for a while, right? Tell me about, hold on, let me fix this. Tell me about telepathic communication. Fear. Fear? Fear, the dream killer. Fear. Is it telepathic communication from what? Your subconscious? A projection? We've got padlock again. And then development, the Three of Pentacles, material investment, chosen, sacred mission. I feel like something, there's something new. Something new that's protected, right? It's protected even from you, right? Because you can't access it with this energy. If you were to access whatever this is a sacred mission. This is like our soul's blueprint, right? It's what our soul incarnated to do. Something our soul incarnated to do. Before we incarnated, we signed this contract that says, I'm going to do yada 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 once I reach this level, right? I'm going to work on this, I'm going to invest in this, but it's locked, it's protected, because there's, or maybe there was, right? There was some internal resistance. It has to do with ascending into the higher heart. Maybe this Two of Cups energy, this love energy, this ability to give and receive love, maybe it's not your final step, but you do have to pass through this energy to get there, right? Or you have to master your ability to give and receive love. We've got the Isle of the Blessed, reward for the righteous. So this card talks about, it's a timeline that we access. It's a reward, right? It feels like heaven on earth. It's a part of our soul's contract, so it's going to be deeply fulfilling, whatever it is. Tell me about fear. Telepathic communication, fear. Sub-freaking conscious. The moon. The subconscious. The moon. The subconscious. So it's like telepathic communication from your subconscious. The fear comes up to the surface and says, hey, no way, that person's not into you, no way, you can't have that kind of love, no way, you're not an equal match. We've got elevated perspective. So this is like an energy of ascending your perspective or ascending your consciousness out of the subconscious, out of this fear. Fear is a cord. It's a binding cord. It's a cord that binds you to this nightmare, to an energy that you would probably prefer to move away from, an experience that you would probably prefer to move away from. It's fear. We have to alchemize it. There's a choice point here. There's a choice point, a crossroads. I feel like the choice is between fear and authenticity, or fear and self-mastery, or even just feeling the fear and doing it anyway, not letting the fear dominate you. Fear is just an emotion, right? If you're the king of earth, then you're the master of your emotional energies, because you've already integrated the King of Cups, right? The King of Cups is emotional mastery. The King of Cups is very in touch. He's in touch with his emotional subconscious, and he is aware when there's he's aware when there's a fear trying to hold him back. And he feels the fear and does it anyway, the King of Cups. The King of Earth is that as well, right? Because before the King of Earth could become the King of Earth, he had to master his emotional subconscious. So, guys, there is some internal resistance to connection, or expressing interest, because these two are face to face, right? They're face to face. The masculine energy is kind of reaching out for the feminine energy's cup, like, hey, do you mind if I can I just like, you want to exchange cups? I'm hearing Tevin Campbell, can we talk for a moment? So maybe it's about expressing yourself. Yeah, it says expressive and equal balance between masculine and feminine energies. Can we know more about the fear? The Hierophant? The Hierophant is the spiritual teacher. He talks about applying the wisdom, or applying something that you've learned to your everyday life to make your life better, to improve your life, right? I'm gonna find the Hierophant. Oh my god, it must be way at the bottom. Sheesh. Okay, so there's the Hierophant. There he is. He's the one who interprets and translates the spiritual wisdom, right? So I feel like this figure here is this reading, right? It's the information, it's the spiritual wisdom. I feel like Spirit wants you to take this energy, this information, and use it, apply it, do something with it. Do it without bias, right? Anything else? Yang, we've got action. Yang represents passion, power, drive, and intensity. If you have lost motivation, Yang is the illuminated warrior within, empowering you to charge ahead with unbending emotional conviction. Charge ahead with unbending emotional conviction. I feel like that's this energy, right? The Hierophant is the opposite of the High Priestess. The High Priestess, she receives the information, right? She's the keeper of secrets. The Hierophant takes action. So I feel like this is about taking action on what you know. Taking action on what you know, what you've learned, what you've learned about your energy, so that you can move yourself into alignment. We've got perfect harmony. On target. We've got past and incomplete. Unfinished business. This is the unfinished business, right? I'm hearing clean it up. Clean it up for alignment. We've got zombie. An evil queen. Anything else? Bird, elevated perspective, came out in the reverse. But we've seen this card. Elevating our oh, here it is right here. Elevating our perspective out of fear so that we can ascend, right? It says the bird represents someone with the insight and wisdom to see beyond surface level appearances and grasp the complete nature of any given situation. Surface level appearances. I feel like this is see beyond the illusion, right? Higher ground, all seeing, all knowing. This is also like this Hierophant energy, all knowing, elevated perspective. You have the wisdom. You know what to do, right? Okay, tell me about internal resistance, Two of Cups. Torch, illuminated awareness. I feel like this is what we've been talking about. It says the torch represents the inner wisdom and practical knowledge that illuminates our path and guides our steps. While we may not always see the full extent of the journey ahead, the torch instills in us the confidence to take the next step forward. Enlightenment, spiritual mastery, self-confidence, inner guidance. So, I feel like this is about feeling the fear and doing it anyway, not having all of the knowledge or not being able to see the full extent of what's ahead, not being afraid, right? Releasing the fear of the unknown and trusting in yourself to make the right choices, trusting your inner guidance. So if you are being or feeling guided to give or receive love, open your heart to give or receive love. If you feel that, if that energy is coming from your higher self, if you feel it within yourself, trust in that. We've got the gates at the bottom of the deck. Judgment Day. Judgment Day. I feel like it has something to do with this crossroads, this choice point, right? This way or that way, this path or that way. It says, upon the completion of a significant cycle, our higher self stands at the gates of judgment where our growth and development are measured. Beyond the gates lies the kingdom of fulfillment. The purity and weightlessness of our hearts are the keys that allow us to enter the gates under grace. The purity and weightlessness of our hearts are the keys that allow us to enter the gates under grace. We saw the padlock a couple of times, and we have unlocking here as the overall energy. The purity and weightlessness of our hearts are the keys that allow us to enter the gates under grace. So, this internal resistance, you can see, even the font, the pen that I wrote this in is in black, right? And this black card is black, the card that came out to clarify it. This is dark, dense energies that it like rests. It rests at the bottom of our hearts. Like as soon as we go to break, if we're ascending, right? We're talking about ascending. We're ascending out of the solar plexus. The solar plexus is our self-confidence and how we show up. It's our outward expression, our confidence to be the most authentic versions of ourselves, right? When we ascend out of the solar plexus, we enter the space of the heart chakra. At the bottom of the heart chakra, when our energy is trying to break through, it has to break through all of this dense energy, this dark, dense energy, this fear. Fear around love. Where was I going with that? The key. Oh, so alchemizing, right? Alchemizing these dense energies, these heavy energies, fear, confusion. We might have to think back to our parents, right? And how we learned to give and receive love from our parents. I'm going to use a personal example. My mother was very harsh and very cruel. So that instilled within me a fearful and anxious attachment style, right? Whenever I would enter these relationships, I had this programming. I believe that love was supposed to be very harsh, and I was supposed to give, right? I was supposed to give more than I received. I had to alchemize that energy. I had to become aware of it first and alchemize that energy so that I can ascend into the higher heart, which is being open and receptive for this energy, right? Also with healthy boundaries. If you look at her face, she's discerning, right? You see how she's looking at him? She's like, okay, we can do this, but let's take it easy. Let's take it slow and see where it goes. So you may have to look at the type of love you receive from your parents. If you have parents who were emotionally avoidant or deprived you of love, you may have like an avoidant attachment style. These energies want to be alchemized, you guys. Maybe you're just like, oh no, love's not for me at all. I'm not interested in it at all. And I feel like that's okay, right? I feel like that won't stop anyone from ascending, but you want to make sure that it's not because you are afraid of love or unable to give or receive love, because even if you try to avoid it or bypass it in that way, these dark, dense energies are still going to rest at the base of your heart chakra. So even if you're not interested in a connection, you still want to make sure that you're alchemizing these energies. Because the purity and weightlessness of your heart is the key that allows you to enter the gates under grace. And the gates has something to do with what's on the other side of the gates. We saw those cards a little bit earlier. It has something to do with your soul's contract, why you came here. And like I said, it may not be love. Love may not be your final destination, but you have to pass through this town, right? You have to drive through this town to get there. All right, you guys, I'm going to leave this message here. Thank you all so much for being here, and I'll see you on the next one.